Well, we have a very important day coming up, and actually it's on December 6th, which is this coming Sunday, but the second Sunday of Advent takes precedence. So December 6th is the day that we remember Bishop Nicholas of Myra. And back he lived about 1,700 years ago, about 300 AD, in that range there. And of course, they didn't have but one name. They were only given one name. We're all used to having a couple names, maybe three. I've got four. Ronald Joseph Anthony Elliot, Joseph's baptism, Anthony's confirmation. But they only had one name, and then attached to that name would be maybe where they lived, maybe what they did as an occupation, maybe some feature about them. But they basically just had one name. So Nicholas of Myra, which is present-day Turkey. And, well, Jesus, one name, but he was Jesus of Nazareth. Now, Nicholas of Myra, he was a priest, then became a bishop, and he was a good man, and he helped children in various different ways. And when he died, they declared him a saint, and so we know him as Saint Nicholas, or Santa Nicolaus. In other words, Santa Claus. Santa Nicolaus. And so whenever you see Santa Claus, we're talking about, and when you see a Catholic bishop. Now, one of the things about Santa Claus that will remind you about a bishop, the bishop has this kind of pointed hat. It's called a mitre. Let me put this on here. And all right, so you notice it has kind of a point to it, like this. And the mitre, the bishop's hat, same way. So this is a reminder that Santa Nicolaus was a Catholic bishop. Now, a story associated with him is that there were these three girls, and they were young girls, and they lived with their father, very poor. They had lost their mother, lived in a house, which I don't know if we'd even probably call it a house today, just a little, well, imagine a little square thing. Small little hovel of a thing. And remember, this 1,700 years ago. And a girl back then, when she was to get married, she had to have money for the marriage, be part of the marriage. And too poor. And if they didn't have money, if the girl didn't have the money, then they would be sold into servitude or servants or slavery. And so Nicholas heard about that. And so one night he went by and he threw in there in the open window a sack of gold, about like a bean bag, about the size of a bean bag, not very big. And he threw that in the middle of the night. And recall, of course, we're talking about 1,700 years ago. There was no windows, glass, no triple pane, kind of a deal going on or anything like that. And no screens either. Just an opening in the wall is all there was. And maybe it has some kind of wood shutter that would come over if it was raining or storming. But no windows, no screens. And so he threw in that bag of gold, and so that girl, that saved her, that child saved her from eventually having to be sold into servitude, slavery. Well, years went by, and then the second girl, and he did the same thing. In order to keep her from being sold into slavery, to servitude, he came by in the night and threw in a bag of gold, size of a bean bag. And then he heard about the third one. Some time went by. And so he comes by, was going to throw that bag of gold in the open window, just the opening in the wall. And the father saw him do it. And so that's how we come to know what happened, how this occurred. So, and there's other stories of his helping children in different ways. And so he, when he was, after he died, he was declared a saint. And we know him as Santa Nicolaus, Santa Claus. And St. Nicholas, he, in the way he helped people, it was, for children, they associated bringing gifts to these little ones. And the original, in fact, there are still many countries in the world, some of the old countries, if you will, in Europe, they will still have the exchange of gifts on December 6th, not Christmas. Christmas was originally like Easter. It was a religious holiday. A religious holiday, like Easter. No gifts, no gifts. But eventually, gifts started to be exchanged on Christmas because the ultimate gift that we receive for all of us is the coming of the baby Jesus, the Christ child. That's the greatest gift. And so it's another thing to remember. When you see Santa Claus, you're thinking about a Catholic bishop. That's where it all came from. And when you're exchanging gifts, when you have these gifts to exchange here at Christmas, think about the ultimate gift that we've all received, that you individually receive. And it's the Christ child at Christmas. So that's kind of how these customs started, and they continue on, and we've kind of, I guess, drifted away a little bit from that. But when I see in the neighborhood all the decorations, and, there'd be, I don't know, these blow-up balloons and, I don't know, snowmen and everything else. But once in a while, I'll see a Santa Claus, and I'll think, well, that's a Catholic bishop. Now, how many of them think about that? I don't know. But Sancta Nicholas was a Catholic bishop. St. Nicholas lived a long time ago, and this is where this custom came from. And the custom of exchanging gifts, of course, we have now associated with Christmas Day, December 25th, and that's because we receive the ultimate gift of the Christ child, of the baby Jesus.